Well, let's apply our 4 risks, shall we? Now, we've hired some new people here and they're not working out. We're having some problems. So let's assess whether these people are increasing our chance of workplace violence, if they are lowering morale, if they're going to give us a bad headline, and are they putting us at risk of a lawsuit? Now, the first person we run into is Mel. And Mel is out in the hallway, right out there in front of God and everybody, having a bad day. And he is screaming and yelling that Jews are responsible for all of the wars in the world. Okay, now, right off the bat, what do you think? Is that increasing or decreasing our chance of workplace violence? Well, that's going up. What is that doing to morale? Is morale going up or down after that? Well, I'll tell you right now, if your morale goes up after that, you got more problems than I could ever help you with, I'll tell you. What kind of a headline would that make? ABC Corporation hates Jews. And what do you think? Have we just committed illegal religious harassment? Well, something to think about, isn't it? Well, you have enough of that. So you go down the hall and you run into Kramer. And Kramer's having a bad day, but he doesn't have any problem with Jews. It's African Americans he's got a big problem with. And he is down there screaming and yelling racial slurs for like 3 minutes. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. All right, what have we just done to the chance of workplace violence? Is that going up or down? Oh, that's going up. What is that doing to morale? Well, I can tell you that's going down. Decent people don't agree with that. And what kind of a headline would that make? ABC Corporations hates black people. Oh, and what do you think? Have we just committed illegal racial harassment? Well, you're certainly heading down that road. You're going to be spending attorney's fees. Whether you win or not's another issue. Well, you can't stand that, so you start heading back to your desk and you come across the receptionist desk. And there's Imus. And Imus is just kidding. You know, he's your new receptionist because he's got that great voice. And he was looking for work for a while. And he is just kidding. You got people like this, right? I'm just kidding. I'm just funning. You know, like that one employee you always make excuses for. Oh, that's just Bill, all right? And he likes to refer to all of your female employees as hoes as they walk by. Okay, now let's just talk to the ladies for a moment here. You are walking by the receptionist desk every day, and Imus keeps referring to you as a hoe and not the garden implement. Okay, what have we just done to the chance of workplace violence? Oh, that's going way up, isn't it? What's happening to morale? Is that going up or down? Well, that's going down. What kind of a headline would that make? ABC Corporation has hoes. Well, might increase your foot traffic, but it's not what you're looking for, I'm sure. And what do you think? You get called a hoe. Is that illegal sexual harassment? Well, I can tell you, you certainly got the other 3 risks, don't you? So you go back to your desk and you pick up a bunch of papers, go to the copier, and you start running off these copies. And your boss, Daniel Page, comes up to you, puts his head down near your groin, and starts sniffing you like a dog. Okay, let that sink in just a moment there. And again, let's talk to the ladies. All right, someone is sniffing your groin at work. What have we just done to the chance of workplace violence? And let me tell you, when I teach this in class, you are well over 100%. And we usually get into the discussion of what constitutes self-defense, because there is no such thing as justifiable assault or justifiable homicide. Sometimes you wish there was, but there's not. Okay, what is that going to do to morale? Oh, that's going down, way down. You got a groin sniffer on the loose. What do you think is going to happen to morale? That's a no-brainer. What kind of a headline would that make on the front page of USA Today? Groin sniffer at ABC organization. They will think you've gone nuts. That's what the public will think. And what do you think? Have we just committed illegal sexual harassment? Groin sniffing. Just let that sink in. Okay, let me tell you right now. Everything I've shown you would pretty much guarantee workplace violence at some point. It would guarantee morale has dropped. It would give you a horrible headline from which you might not recover. But I got news for you. I haven't shown you anything that even comes close to being illegal. Yes, that's right. Everything I've shown you is perfectly legal. You would have no legal protection. Zero. Now, let me just tell you what the legal standard is, and let's take a look at the groin sniffing case. For those of you that think I made that little thing up, guess again. Remember, I told you there are perverts in the world, there are bigots in the world. These people are crazy. You thought I was kidding. I'm not kidding. Mendoza versus Borden, and are famously referred to as the sniffing case. Basically, you had Daniel Page come up to his employee, Red Mendoza, at Borden. Nothing going on. Just to embarrass her, puts his head down near her groin and starts sniffing her like a dog. Yes, that's right. So he does it once. Okay, let that sink in. Everybody keep track. He's done it once. 3 or 4 months later, he does it again. So you don't have just one incident, you got 2. 3 or 4 months later, he does something very, very similar. And then another 3 or 4 months after that, he does something else. So you've got these 4 isolated incidences in 16 months. All right, she sues. This goes all the way up to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. And the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals is very sympathetic to Miss Mendoza, but they're following the precedent of the United States Supreme Court. This is the legal standard for what is sexual harassment, as well as racial, age, all the protected classes. Would the reasonable person in the community be so offended that they couldn't function in their job? And 2, 3, 4 incidences isn't enough. The court said it's not sexual harassment. It's not bad enough. Now, I'll tell you, this is a very important definition for you to understand. Most people think that because they're offended, oh, that's illegal. Oh, I'm offended. No, that's not what the United States Supreme Court has said. And the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals in the sniffing case, or Mendoza versus Borden, they are just carrying out what the United States Supreme Court had already ruled in a couple of different cases. So let's make sure you understand how high this standard is. Let's break it down. First of all, would the reasonable person in the community. Now stop right there. 20 years ago, the community was probably New York City, right? Maybe Los Angeles, St. Louis. Today, we've got Twitter. We've got Facebook. We've got cell phones. Today, the community is the country. I promise you, something happens and it's juicy, it is going to spread across the country like wildfire. And you got to make sure that you understand what the tone of the country is, because that's the standard that we live under. All right. You'll hear so many people say, well, I was offended. No, no, no. The definition is, would the reasonable person in the community be so offended that they couldn't function in their job? Now, that's a kicker right there. So, couldn't function in their job? Think of why we got employment law, why we got civil rights laws. Title VII. We got Title VII in 1964, Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Before that, I could fire you because you were black. I could not hire you because you were Jewish. I could not hire you because you were female. Think about this. Employment law, it's so obvious, it evades us. Employment law protects your employment. That's it. It protects your right to make a buck. That's it. It doesn't protect your feelings. Actually, the United States Supreme Court has come right out and said a couple of times, the law is not a civility code. You want to treat each other like dirt? Bon appetit. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. The law doesn't protect that. It protects your right to make a buck. And that's it. Because if you can't make a buck, you're in big trouble. So that's what it protects. And 2 or 3 or 4 incidences, they're not enough. So I've shown you these examples. They were one single isolated incident. Actually, if you look at the sniffing case, that was 4 sniffs or 4 incidences. And the 11th Circuit came out and they said, it's not enough. I'll tell you right now, this is one of the highest standards in all of employment law. This is a tremendously high standard. So, think about this. Is the law saying that you can go out maybe once a year and sniff one of your coworkers? Well, yeah, that's exactly what the law is saying. You get yourself a good day planner and you spread it out. Is that what I'm saying? Look, I am here to tell you one good HR person is worth 10 lawyers any day. A lawyer will get you out of trouble. That's what we lawyers do. A good HR person will prevent it. So, think about this. The law's saying we're not going to do anything about 1, 2, or 3 sniffs. What am I saying? Oh, no. We are not going to set our employee relations by the law. There is no way. We are going to set our employee relations by our culture. What do we like? What is acceptable here? For instance, if you go and you get arrested for something and you flip off the world in your mug shop, you're getting fired. That's our standard. So let's say we're all here at ABC Company taking this course and someone comes in and grabs HR and says, oh my gosh, you won't believe it. We got us a sniffer up on 2. Well, they never thought of sniffing somebody's groin until they took the course. So, now we got sniffers on the list. Okay, now freeze right there. I just told you it's not illegal. So should we wait for it to become illegal? No. Oh my gosh, if you waited till things became illegal, no one would work for you. You'd have bodies laying everywhere, and your headlines would embarrass you to death. No. I can tell you right now, we are going to take measures reasonably designed to end it. And we would talk within your culture. Is this guy getting suspended? Is this guy getting fired? Whatever it is, within your culture, what do you want to do? I'm not going to wait for it to become illegal. So, I'll tell you, you want to make sure that you are defending your culture and on the lookout for workplace violence, which is out of control in this country, low morale, which we only have like a 30% satisfied rate with our morale in this country, bad headlines, which will nail you, and then finally lawsuit. You take care of your employee relations, you won't have problems in this area of the law.